Hi everyone. So hopefully I am now live. Yeah, how is everyone? I hope that you're all doing really well. And yeah, you're enjoying the first signs of summer, hopefully wherever you are. And yeah, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube and done a video. So yeah, apologies for that, but it's been a really busy time creating my advanced training program and been really busy teaching the level 1 and 2 program and doing my embodied healer membership, which was started in January, which is kind of relatively new. So yeah, it's just been a busy few months, and now I'm writing a new course to teach my community about hyperdimensional implant removal and all of these more what's the word? Yeah, just basically introducing more of the hyperdimensional concept into the work that I'm actually doing, because usually I'm just teaching this in my Akashic trainings for my practitioners, teaching them how to identify and remove these hyperdimensional entities from clients. And yeah, I just felt the call to open it up as a self-healing program for anybody who's called to actually learn a little bit more about it. So yeah, it's been a busy time. So I'm just in the process of doing that. But I wanted to jump on today and talk about just a little bit about spiritual parasites, because I get asked quite often when I identify spiritual parasites in people's, when I'm doing people's Akashic readings and I'm picking up these entities in their blueprint. And yeah, there's quite a few different interpretations in regards of what spiritual parasites are, and they can be interpreted in different ways according to particular belief systems or philosophies that you are looking into. For example, if you were to Google, what are spiritual parasites, then it would bring up a plethora of information from different sources. So my definition or interpretation of spiritual parasites comes from, there's two kinds of spiritual parasites. We have, as I believe with most of our entity attachments, there can be self-created entity attachments, things that we are creating, our own inner demons and our own shadow energies, dark energies, our negative emotions, and what we can actually create by way of our own internal stuff, stuff that's trapped in our body from experiences that we've had, whether it's in past life or childhood, for example. So we've kind of got the internal self-created energies that can attach themselves to us and attach to our psyche. And then, of course, we've got the external entities, which are intrusions that we can pick up from other beings, people around us, people that we know, our loved ones, but also intrusions from the hyperdimensional, more kind of astral beings. So just to come back to the beginning, so negative entities, so spiritual parasites are basically, it's a negative energy or a pathogen, right? So an energy that can attach itself to our psyche, that ultimately can cause disruptions, distractions, can cause us physical harm, mental harm, emotional harm, or drain our energy. And again, these can be from both living external energies, again, from people that we know, people who direct negative energies at us, or again, from astral beings. And they could also be our own, as I mentioned previously, our own unhealthy subconscious patterns of thought or behavior that do, of course, limit our growth, our potential, our well-being, because these negative thought patterns are basically a result of emotional states and just negative habits of our mind that impact our mental and emotional health. And these thought patterns can also be inherited from our loved ones, from our family members. You know, we learn as children, we learn patterns of behavior. You know, we learn behaviors from our parents, our grandparents, even our teachers, our older brothers and sisters, you know, our living relatives, etc., etc. But of course, we can also create these unhealthy thought patterns as a result of our experiences, having, you know, adverse experiences as children, or living in dysfunctional households, growing up with dysfunctional parents who've got their own traumas and they've got their own parasites attached to them because they're creating their own, or they've picked up negative beings. You know, quite often we pick up negative beings, or we can have intrusions from negative beings because they attach to our negative energies and our traumas, our fears, etc. However, if we personally are harboring anger or hatred or resentment or fear, you know, these kind of bitterness, envy, etc., these lower emotions, these low frequency emotions build over time. You know, if we don't address them and we're not discharging these energies through the body as we experience them, then eventually they can build in the body and take on a life of their own. And this then becomes an entity. So a lot of people associate entities with a being, with a spirit being. But an entity is any living energy. You know, a plant is an entity. We are all individual entities. You know, an animal is an entity. A thought form is an entity. An emotion is an entity. You know, a collective energy is an entity. It's a collective entity. So, you know, anything that's living, anything that's a living energy, we can define it as an entity. So not all entities are necessarily other beings, or, you know, attacks from other beings outside of ourselves. They can be our own inner demons. You know, we can see these sometimes when we go in meditations. We can see these inner demons that quite often we perceive that it's an external attachment, and it's not always. Yeah, sure, there are external astral attachments that can intrude in our space, but quite often I find that a lot of the demonic energies that we're seeing are our own parasitic energies that have attached to our psyche because of the build-up. You know, the energies create momentum. You know, thought forms build momentum, they create momentum, and they can appear as demonic like beings, and quite often they're harmless. So, you know, I'm not one for propagating fear, and so I try to bring some kind of rationality into the work that I'm doing. And so when I'm talking to people about spiritual parasites or entities, you know, firstly I go into somebody's record to identify what is their own, what they've created themselves, so we can actually get a better, less fearful perspective on what somebody is actually feeling or seeing. And again, once I've done that, and once we've gone into the internal, you know, what people have created internally, then we can look at what external attachments people have that are intruding in their field, in their energy fields, or attached to their auric field, etc., etc. But ultimately, the external beings, external parasites, attached to our lower frequency emotions. They attach to our fears, they attach to our traumas. So any vampiric energies outside of ourselves that are attaching to us, then they are attaching to these energies. So ultimately, you know, how we can help ourselves and how we can release these and disperse these parasites, these negative entities, whether it's our own self-created energy or whether it's an external, from an external source, via a loved one or an unknown being. You know, what we can do to help to disperse is work on clearing our own fields, because when we keep our own fields clear and we're constantly doing energetic cleansing, we're helping to restore distortions that we're carrying in the bodies, you know, mental body distortions, emotional body distortions, and of course even physical body distortions, the damages that we're creating within our own physical bodies, our gut, you know, our heart, our kidneys, our liver, and you know, all of the other internal organs, the glands even. You know, we throw our endocrine system out of balance with our mental thought patterns, with our emotions, etc., etc. And of course, all the external toxins that we're putting in the body, you know, what we're consuming and what we're breathing in, you know, environmental toxins, which unfortunately are unavoidable. But keeping our own fields clear and healthy, keeping our spiritual immune system healthy and intact, will help to disperse these energies, you know, because we repair the distortions in the energy bodies, which will naturally and organically dissipate. Some may take a little bit more time than others. Some may take a little bit more work than others. Some entity attachments, some parasites might need somebody, you know, might need a healer to come in and kind of pull them out and remove them for some people, because there are some energies that are a little bit more nefarious in nature than others. But for the most part, I find that most of them are relatively harmless, in the sense of it's not a nefarious energy, it's not malevolent, it is pretty benevolent energy. As I say, a lot of it is just our own stuff, you know, our own inner demons. But what we can do to keep our energy fields clear is, you know, set healthy boundaries, you know, cultivate our own energy, cultivate positive thought patterns, and create new, more positive habits that will open new neural pathways, that will repattern the negative thought patterns in the subconscious mind. And you know, energy training is vital, it's fundamental. You know, whatever we're doing is fundamental, that we're doing daily practices like breath work, even guided meditations, qigong, energy body tapping. You know, we can tap on acupressure points of the body to clear and release blockages, stagnant energy in the body, so the chi can flow through the whole of the body, you know, through that central body current from the crown down to the base. You know, this is vital when our chakras are blocked, when we've got stagnation in the energy body systems, then of course, you know, energy does get blocked, and this can create more distortion. And this distortion is what then the both internal and external parasites attach to. So ultimately, doing energy training, learning how to cultivate our own energy, how to grow our own energy, how to expand our own consciousness, gentle yoga, qigong, mindful meditation, just sitting and being present with yourself, you know, exercise, whether, you know, anything that where you're moving your body and you're moving energy through your body, and just generally maintaining spiritual well-being to reduce the impact of negative influences. All of this will help the body to become more strong, will help the spiritual immune system to become stronger, so that the body can become resilient to negative energies. And so when anything does try to attach to us, whether it's our own, you know, thought form entities, or whether it's other people's thought form entities, because of course other people's thoughts about us is an entity that can attach to us. So this is, you know, what we can call, you know, spiritual external intrusions that we have from other people. You know, these can gain momentum and attach to our psyche. keep us attached, keep us attached with cords of energy, threads of energy to other people, you know, previous partners, friends that we're no longer friends with, you know, people that we've had arguments and fallen out with, family members even that we're, you know, estranged family members, estranged partners, estranged friends, you know, any energetic connection that we've had with other beings and other souls, you know, we can create these negative energies with, create negative buildup with, create attachments with, you know, we're constantly creating energetic attachments. And when we're mindful of what we're actually creating, and that we're mindful of our power, because we are powerful, we're co-creators, we're co-manifestors, so we're constantly manifesting and creating things for ourselves and for others, and we're co-creating with others. So when we're mindful of this power that we actually have, we can have a greater understanding of what we're actually doing, and we can be more mindful of what we're creating, so that we're creating positive attachments and creating positive attunements with friends and family members, and also creating new attachments, you know, and attunements with people that are positive, that help us to grow. Because just as we can have negative entity attachments, we can also have positive entity attachments. And these positive attachments, again, they're attunements with loved ones. You know, we can create positive karmas and positive energies with loved ones that help us to grow, help us to expand, open our heart, etc., etc., just as much as we have the negative, you know, negative attachments and negative parasites and creating negative karma. So yeah, I think I will wrap that up. I just wanted, again, just to jump on really quick and just offer a little bit of insight to people who question, you know, what parasites and what entities are, because they don't always have to be something of a nefarious, negative, malevolent source. You know, sometimes it is just our own harmless energies, our unprocessed energies, our undischarged energies, you know, things that are trapped in our body quite often. And so, yeah, not everything has to be, we don't have to be in this fear space. But ultimately, one important thing to remember is that any astral being that does attach to us, it cannot physically hurt us. And they're easy to remove. For me, I really believe that, you know, these negative astral beings that can intrude our space and can attach to us, they're pretty easy to remove. You know, we just command them to leave. You know, get out of my space. You do not have permission to be here. Leave now. So a simple command like this can just release any negative being, because under the law of free will, we live in a free will universe, and these negative beings, they understand this because it's part of the spiritual laws, part of universal laws. And even though they don't necessarily abide by, you know, the nature, the laws of nature, that under the umbrella of the law of one, you know, they will try to manipulate and try to interfere, but they cannot. And they understand this. So just making a command for them to leave, they will have to leave. And I've done this for the last 10 to 15 years, working with these energies, working with these beings. And when I have had an external intrusion, I've just commanded it to leave, and it leaves, because it cannot. And if it doesn't, and it is interfering, you know, the law of interference is a spiritual law, it's a universal law. And so these beings are aware of all of these laws. And if they do not leave when you command it to leave, then they are breaching the law of interference, and they can be taken out by the higher powers. You know, the higher powers can intercede and remove these beings. the higher powers, again, because of the law of interference, the higher powers will not step in and eradicate these negative beings for the same reason. But if these negative beings are breaching the spiritual laws, then the higher powers can step in and intercede and take them out. And ultimately, every being, whether it's positive or negative, wants to survive. So they will go. They will go. But again, just to summarize, practicing, energetic training will help you to keep your spiritual immune system strong, healthy, and intact. And again, that will dissipate anything that does attach to you, will dissipate, because your frequency will become so high that your body will just naturally disperse anything of a lower frequency that attempts to attach to your field. But ultimately, it takes work and it takes practice to get to the point where our frequency is high enough that we can repel these lower frequency energies, these darker energies. And ultimately, it's quite easy for us all in the societies that we live in. It's easy for us to get pulled down into a low vibration because of the experiences that we're having and all of the propaganda that we see. There's wars happening around us. There's natural disasters happening around us. And of course, when these natural disasters and these wars are happening, it's normal that as empaths, we're all empaths, we feel energy. So when something like this is happening, it's really easy for us to get low, to become low, and to vibrate on a lower frequency. And of course, unfortunately, the external beings are out there just waiting to, they're just waiting for this to happen, and then they can jump into our field pretty quickly. But again, just daily energy training, keep doing your practices, having that awareness, having that mindful awareness of what is happening around us, that we are co-creators and co-manifestors. And even when we're manifesting nothing, we're still manifesting. So, manifesting nothing is still manifesting. Anyway, I will leave it there. I will wrap up. So I hope you like my little Merkaba virtual background behind. So just to bring that 12D Merkaba frequency into the video so that you can all receive some healing as I'm speaking. And so, yeah, just set the intention to receive that 12th dimensional frequency. Just breathe it into your body. You will receive it. So all my videos are infused with healing and 12D frequencies. Hence, I wanted to put this virtual, this little virtual Merkaba in the background. So anyway, thank you all for watching. If you enjoy this video, if it resonates with you, then drop me a comment or a like below. And I'll pop my website in the comments as well, so that anybody who wants to hop on and they're interested in the new hyperdimensional training course that's coming up at the end of June, or I'm going to be turning it into an online training as well. So that's going to take me a little bit of time to create all the online video training for that. So bear with me for the online training, but I also love doing live interactive trainings. So the live interactive training for the hyperdimensional entity removal will be the 24th and 25th of June. It's a 2-day, 5 hours, 2.5 hours each day. So yeah, just teaching you how to identify and remove your own hyperdimensional implants and entities. So yeah, it's a new course that I'm doing. As I say, usually I just teach this course to my Akashic training practitioners, teaching them how to do it for clients. But yeah, I just felt the call to open it up. I think it's perfect time now with all the energies and what's happening as we are, things are intensifying out there in the field with the ascension process. So yeah, now it's a great time to learn a little bit more about internal and external implants, particularly the hyperdimensional implants and entities that we can receive throughout our lifetime. So yeah, valuable tools. And for those healers among you who are watching, the next Akashic Record Practitioner training, level 1 and 2, that will be in July I forget the date. I think it's the 10th and 11th of July, but I'm not sure. Again, it's all on my website, so I'll post the link below and have a look. And yeah, reach out to me. My details, you can contact me via the booking, contact and booking on my website, or follow me also on Facebook. Just put in @miarena.akash and you'll find me on Facebook. So yeah, have a beautiful rest of your day, and yeah, sending lots of 12D frequencies out to you. Lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.